Clone.
They're on their way.
Clone. Para says as I lift my head. Para, I answer. Or should I say Para's blubbert?
It seems Para's blubbert is aware that you know who you're talking to.
How are you feeling? She asks. For a moment, it sounded like Para was the one who asked that.
But it's just my associate trying to determine how much of a threat you are.
Being restrained isn't particularly comfortable, I say.
Quite the comedian.
That earns me a few clicks.
From Keddy and some of the other young followers.
I apologize for that, but we need to take the necessary precautions. Para's blubbert says.
Are you still looking for Para?
I understand, I say. Do you know why you're here? She asks. Well, something clearly went wrong.
Try to convince them you're blameless.
Not entirely. I was following my blubbert's instructions. Did an issue arise? I ask.
Perfectly innocent.
The incompletion of the ceremony. Para's blubbert responds. The ceremony would have still been completed, I answer. The rituals wouldn't have been completed, but given the narrative I was working within, that wouldn't have caused any suspicion or issue. That is not an acceptable reason to ignore the rituals of the ceremony. Para's blubbert says. Do you understand why? The rituals are there to reaffirm the bonds that were forged long ago with the other Aku. The bonds that allow us to prosper with the blessing and support of the blubberts, I answer. Then why did you believe it was acceptable to skip the ritual? I was following my blubbert's instructions, I repeat. What were those exact instructions? If they decide I'm innocent, or at least salvageable, what incentive does Screon have to save Reese?
I'm sure I could think of something.
How reassuring. Head to the location provided, I answer.
You're more than likely going to be declared unsalvageable.
Then I'm simply buying time.
We'll have enough time regardless.
Why were you instructed to go there? Para's blubbert asks. Why am I trying then?
Do you need a reason?
Do you have a reason?
Do I need one?
To retrieve some nutrients. You want an interesting outcome.
I do.
Reese claimed you were collecting crystal ingredients. Para's blubbert says. You'll have to gamble then. If you don't give me a believable reason, then I have no reason to play innocent.
The more innocent you appear, the more troubling the inevitable verdict will be. And the more troubling it is, the greater the impact it will have.
You know crystals are made from nutrients. You're a blubbert, I say. Everyone stiffens. The room goes cold.
Not interested in the impact, huh?
This event will have enough of an impact.
Oh well, your saviors are here.
Reese. Vishnuga is still as overwhelming as I remember it. All the flowers everywhere, and not a Dallas in sight. I should stop calling them Dolly. What do they call themselves?
Followers of Fetus?
So they only identify themselves by their religion. Great. I follow Screon through the flowers to the gates of the town. I step past them and into the darkness. I can barely see the round buildings covered in detailed patterns. It was easier to see outside in the field with the crystal posts, but there are barely any crystals here. It doesn't look anything like Sheeta.
Those details were all part of the preparation. Let me adjust your vision a bit.
The world shifts into focus. Even if it's still dark, I can make everything out. I reach for my phone. I still have it. Somehow, it wasn't taken when Clone was apprehended.
You're welcome. Now might not be the best time for notes, though. I can answer all your questions at a later date.
I put it back. She has a point. For once.
I have many points.
Then why does the town look empty? All I can see are the circular buildings. No one is walking around outside. All the buildings only have one hole somewhere on them, but it's too dark to see inside.
The followers don't have visual organs, so the lights are only put up when the sacrifices come.
That's good to know, and I'll have more questions about that later. But why aren't they outside?
I wasn't trying to avoid the question. They likely sensed that Clone was taken here restrained by crystals without her blubber, and well, that can't be anything good now, can it? To answer your next question, they sensed it through smell, temperature, and sound primarily.
We finally reach the center of the town, a mess of horns as dense as the crown.
The crevice.
I follow Screon inside, her crystals making her a glowing beacon, and I'm assuming I'm not completely blind because you've enhanced my vision again.
You're welcome. Not much to see here besides more symbols you can't read.
I'm sure you could translate for me.
We're in a hurry.
There's a clicking in the distance.
We're almost at the main room.
I can see a faint array of colorful lights leaking around the corner. We turn the corner, and I'm met with a room full of followers. Screon walks forward without announcing herself. The clicks stop as everyone turns to her, before moving to clear a path to the center of the room, where Cologne is restrained in her true form.
Restrained with crystals.
You would find that amusing.
I like irony. Ready?
I have to be. Screon walks forward into the room. I follow her. It seems like everyone is watching her. Is everyone here an Ari lady?
Kinda and yes. Everyone's focus is on her.
I wonder how they feel. Screon doesn't look concerned, and they certainly know why she's here. She stands at her full height, relaxed but controlled. It's interesting to see all the Ari ladies in their true forms.
Would you like to know who's who? We still have some time before the show. Despite our immense knowledge, we blubbers can be a bit slow to react on the micro scale sometimes.
Why? Sloth? Standard hubris? Bureaucracy?
A bit of all of the above.
Of course. Sure, why not? Tell me who's who.
Over there you'll see 2 yellow Aria from an Aku I wasn't required to name for this sacrifice. I think the cultural artist would have had fun making some headpieces you humans would appreciate.
One of them looks like she's made of gold with garnets melted into her skin. The other is a bright yellow with coral-colored swirls in her skin that look too smooth to be crystals, like the remnants of the crystals in Karen's skin. Their horns cover the top half of their faces like spider webs. Maybe they could have made a birdcage veil. I guess that would have been fun.
Maybe. You'll notice the older one is about as old as Karen, and the younger one is about as old as Screon. That's the proper age gap for a 2 Auriorei Aku.
How can you tell which ones are older?
The ones with more wear and tear, like all species.
I was looking for a more specific answer.
The more fused the crystals are with the skin.
Right. Which one's Kame?
She was escorted out earlier.
Why?
She had an outburst.
Will she be okay?
Probably.
Why don't you know?
She'll be okay if it's a one-time incident.
Why wouldn't it be?
This incident might inspire something.
You want this to inspire something.
I do.
Why are you even here if you find it so boring?
It's better than being told what to do.
Do I know any of the Ari ladies here?
The 3 green ones with the flower-like horns are the Auriorei of Aegina.
The 3 Ari ladies from Aegina are standing together. The 2 on either side each have a long hand-like limb on the one in the middle, who looks like she's folding in on herself. She's smaller than the other 2. She leans forward a bit, but the other 2 Ari ladies hold her in place.
That would be Ketty.
Right, she's the muted green one. Her horns only curve around to make the flower-like shape once, like her crown in her human form. And she's covered in orange crystals. Ketty's crystal color. The crystals look like they're stuck to her, not like they're fused into her skin like Screon's have. That means the one on the left would be Xenia, since she's covered in yellow crystals that looked fused with her body like Screon's. And the one on the right must be Isachia. Her pastel pink crystals are perfectly blended into her skin like Karen's.
Up ahead, you'll see 2 purple ones with horns that look like upside-down deer antlers. Those are the Auriorei from Vishnuga.
The two purple Ari ladies are standing tall at the front of the room. They look like they're in charge.
Para's blubber is almost as old as me, so she's the one in charge.
So she gets to be in charge because of her blubber.
Her blubber gets to speak through her for the trial. It's more efficient.
Right. Screon reaches Cologne and kneels down in front of her. Cologne shifts in place. I wonder what she's thinking.
Interested in knowing?
As long as Cologne is planning on keeping me alive, I don't need you to relay her thoughts to me.